Right. So this week we have a good friend of mine on the podcast, uh, Adi from Israel. So explain a wee bit about yourself. Whereabouts are you from in Israel? And have I pronounced the name right? Maybe I don't know we're mates, but it's maybe not the correct pronunciation.
Okay, so sorry. This was a WhatsApp from you, so I'll put it on quiet 1 minute. Okay. Um, my name is Adi Etrog. I am 44 years old, from Israel. I live in the south of Israel, in the desert part of Israel. I will show some pictures later if you want. And I working sheepdog for the last 15 years. And um, I I made the all the working sheep in Israel. I have a big part of making it happen. When I started doing that 15 years ago, no one here really did it seriously or professionally. So this
Mhm.
is and specifically trial wise, it's a lot of my work that we have it in Israel now. So I'm kind of proud of that.
Yeah.
And well, this is me married to girls, uh, dogs, sheep, goats, cat,
Everything.
everything. Yeah.
They no problem. And outside of dogs, is there anything you're into at all? Any other interests or hobbies down the years you've had, or has it always been sort of dog related?
Actually, I started as riding horses. I was riding horses from a very young age, and I did it professionally, competition. I did reining. If someone know, it's a one of the Western riding profession.
Hmm.
And I compete. I train horses. I teach people. I train a youth team to try to competitions. So I did that until I was 26.
Hmm.
And when I stopped riding horses, and I probably need to train something else. So, and dogs are much better than horses.
Yes, yeah, less dangerous too.
Yeah.
So you started the dogs then at what, 26, 27, or
Yeah, a little bit later. I think it was 29 when I
yep.
started with the dogs. Just
Um, at that time, then was there other people? There was no other people. Was there other people trialing in Israel, or what got your attention for sheepdogs? Or
well, actually, it's a funny story because um, when I stopped riding horses, I got as a present my first border collie, and she wasn't an ISDS border collie, and people that came from the state said that she's looked like a Welsh sheepdog,
yes,
but it was a border collie. And I started a trainer for agility and frisbee and obedience and all those kind of things, just because I need to train something.
hmm,
And when she was 2 years old, we bred her. And we were thinking that it will be really easy to sell the pups because she was amazing dog. But we
yeah,
stuck with the two last puppies. We live in the, as I said, the south part of Israel. It's not
uh,
a lot of people here, and it's really far from the center of Israel. So people
yeah,
just didn't bother drive 3 hours to buy a pup when they can
yeah.
find it closer. And one day I came home and my husband told me I found a solution for those puppies. There is a sheep farmer in the north of Israel, and he want to buy those, but
Mhm.
you just need to train them to sheep work. And I was like, I never did it before. I barely trained a dog before.
Yeah,
And I didn't have any sheep or fences or nothing. We just moved to our farm. So we had a small caravan in the middle of nothing. And and I was like thinking that I don't know how to do that. And I told him, how can I do it? I never did it before. And he told
yeah,
me, you good with animals, you can do that. So, the idea got in my mind, and
yeah.
it sounds like a fun thing to do. I didn't know then how much fun it is, but it sounds like a nice thing to do. And then I was starting, and I was thinking that, okay, I can do the outwork. We all know that to train a dog, you need to be very, um, like, to do it every day, and you need to I miss some of the word in English, but it's hard work. It's a specific work to train a dog. But because I did it all my life with horses, I know I can all the train. Like I can, do it every day. But someone need to teach me the technique, I didn't know how to do that. So I start looking for someone in Israel that can teach me. And I said, okay, once a week, once every 2 weeks, I will drive as far as I can. Israel is not that big, 6 hour stop to drive to the other side. So I will drive wherever I need, get a lesson, go back to my house and start training and do the hard work myself. But I couldn't find anyone in Israel that can teach me.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have farmers in the Golan Heights that work with dogs. Even even heard stories about important dog from the UK that came trained with a whistle. No one learned to use the whistle, but became trained. But no one did it professionally. No one trained dog for other people. No one teach other people how to train a dog, and no one breed them professionally. Like they were farmers, so they did understand that if they have a good bitch and they want a good puppies, they need a good male. But they didn't care if she's a border collie and is a cattle dog.
Just whatever happens.
So no one did it professionally here when I started. And what I did is went into Google and start looking for answer. And I found Andy Nichols' disc, First Step in Border Collie Training. And he promised that he can teach anyone to train his border collie. So I bought the disc, and until the disc arrived, like, these days, if you want to learn something by video, you pay, and a few minutes later you get the link to your email. But then I had to wait a few weeks until I got the disc by mail. It was 15 years ago. And by then I got some cold feet and sell the puppy very, very cheap. Because I didn't feel right to promise a farmer that I will make a sheepdog for him, and I never did it before. So, but then the disc arrived, and I watched the disc, and things was click for me. I just understand it. The way we started the young border collies, it's very similar to the way we start the young horses. The way we move around them and we control the movement. If someone that listen, work with young horses, especially Western kind, he will understand what I'm saying. So it was easy for me to understand the way, and was just like, I want to try that. So I went to my father old chicken, how you call the place you grow chicken?
Chicken farm,
So he had a chicken farm, not anymore, but I take some fence from there, bought some ducks, and start working with the ducks. So So this was how I started. And the interesting was that after a month and a half or two, the dog, the bitch that I had, she started working. Come by, away, lie down, walk on, start working. And the amazing thing for me was that bitch that would do everything for a piece of ado or a frisbee, when she went to the ducks, she wouldn't care about anything else. And we all know that the border collie are like that, but for me it was a surprise back then. And for me to work with an animal that want to do what she do, like those border collie ones, that want to cooperate with me, that share my goal for the work without me. With the horses, you need to make them.
Forcing them. Right, you don't have to force it.
Yeah. And they never get to the place they really like the job. They get to the place that they trained enough to do it. But it's not like with our border collie that they commitment to the job. They will offer their wisdom to the work. So for me, it was amazing to find out this kind of training. And back there, 15 years ago, I just decided that it's something that I want to do. I started as an hobby, and it's got in to be a business um, because I wanted to be, and because no one else did it. So
Yep.
farmers need help, and no one could help them back there.
Yep.
And when I started, I put myself on two goals. So one was to help farmers, to give some service to farmers that need dogs. And they didn't even know how to get the right dog, how to find the right dog. It wasn't easy
Yes.
back there in Israel to find the right dog. But and they didn't have anyone to train the dog for them or teach them how to work with him. So this is something that I do in the last 15 years. The first farmer that I work with, he was quite old. He have a heart condition, and he really want to keep going out to the fields with the sheep. And it was became pretty hard for him to do it on him without a dog.
Yeah.
So it was my first client. And I would just say that in Israel, in the UK, most of the sheep are just let out and in the fields. And the farmer job is, bring them from this field to that field or whatever. But in Israel, most of the flock are living indoor. And the
Right. Yeah.
shepherd will take the flock out for 6 hours, or 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening. It depends on the if it's winter or summer, and stay with him and keep them there and bring them back. So it's 6 hours to guard the
Yeah.
sheep
Yeah.
in the same place with no fence. It's hard work if the sheep are not trained or you don't have a dog. And so in the last 15 years, there is a lot of farms that I work with, train dog for them, teach them how to work the dog, breed for them, sell dog for them, and all those kind of things. I work with a lot of farmers. And the second goal I had is to make the sheepdog a sport,
Yeah.
because I compete a lot with the horses. I don't miss the horses at all, but I really like doing sport and the competitions. So I miss this, and I know it's a sport in the world. So I wanted to make it a sport in Israel. It took me 7 years. It's not easy to
Yeah.
start a new sport. So, and what I did, I see in Israel a lot of new canine sport, that the person that bring the sport into the country doesn't want competition. So if someone else want to start another club in the same sport, he will, try to, how you said it, like try to stop him, to try to prevent him from
Yeah.
success.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I decided it will be the opposite.
Yeah.
And everyone that told me, when I find, and I start do some clinic, just dog people that want to try some different thing with the dog. So I start to do some clinic. And when someone told me, I have a kennel and I can have sheep, and maybe I will do this thing too. And I said, okay, we need another club. We need another place that do sheepdog. So I will
Yeah.
help you, and I will help you to find the dog, and I will help you to start and guide you. So now we have, I think, 6 places all over Israel from north to south that you can go and learn sheepdog working.
Yes.
And
Yeah. 15 years ago, nothing like so. A big
yeah,
change.
and 15 years ago, there was one person that said he does that, but it wasn't professional. So
Yeah.
now we have 6 places, professional places that you can go and you can train your dog and you can work with your dog and do some instinct tests and those. And so at the beginning, was one of the things I did, because to have competition, to have trials, you need other people to
Yeah. To
try it.
compete.
Yeah, if you are the only one, it's no competition. So, and then the other difficult things was, we didn't know how to do a sheepdog trial. Like the first sheepdog trial we did, we had some old lady that she's a judge in the FCI, like the show
Yes.
dog. And she really liked border collies and working border collies. So she said she's agreed to judge us. And it was like in a goat farm. And she invent a course that is nothing like the course we do now. Now I know what we do. And well, it was just embarrassing what work there.
Disaster.
But we were just starting. And then I start going to, it's a limit how much you can learn from a video.
Mhm.
It was a great CD, but it's limited how much you can learn. So I start going just out of Israel to learn. It took me a while to get to the UK
Yeah.
because because what we used to do is every year we take a vacation, me and my husband, and
Yeah.
you want to do ski and I want to go to see some sheepdog. And because there is not enough good place to ski in the UK, we went
Yeah.
to Germany and Spain and other places and France. And eventually understand that the UK is the place to go to. And the first time I went to Analu Diabel in Wales. I
Uh-huh.
went there for a week and I learned a lot. And one of the amazing things there was that she showed me a dog that do a very nice wide outrun. And I told her, you have to teach me how you do that because my dog has a very narrow outrun and I cannot make her do a wide outrun. And she was laughing on me. And she told me, I don't teach that, I breed for that. So I understand in that visit, in that week, that with the dog we have in Israel, we won't get anywhere.
Yeah.
And I just remember me going back and going to visit one of my friends that he grew, he had a goats farm and he grew Kennel Club border collies.
Mhm.
So, and he was into train them. And he said that the Kennel Club can work very good. And I came to his place, sit in the kitchen and told him, we don't have a good dog. I'm going to bring a female, you're going to bring a male, and we're going to start have a good dog here. And he was argue a little bit about how the Kennel Club border collie can be good enough. But I convinced him eventually. And then we brought the first two ISDS border collies
Right.
and
Yes.
started with that. And since then, we brought a lot of border collie. Now we have very, very good border collies in Israel.
Yeah.
Um, Especially Yuval, you know him. He brought
Yeah.
a lot of very, very good dog. I think every good dog that you have in the UK, we have either son or grandson of him. So
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
now we
A lot
have
of good
our
breeding.
own breeding. What?
A lot of good breeding now in
Uh,
Israel then. Yeah.
yeah. Now we have a lot of good breeding. Um, Well, so since then, in the last 7 years or even 8 years, we have a league year, a competition.
Yes.
It started, um, what I did in the first few years, it's try to every year either go to the UK or to other country to learn or bring someone here to train us.
Yeah.
Because if I go to other place, I can learn a lot. But the the condition here is a bit different than in the UK.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Big time.
yeah, so I came back to Israel and thing is not working the same. The sheep
Yeah.
are very different. The terrain is very different. And I want it to be a sport. So I want other people to learn too. So when I bring someone here, I can invite all the other club to come and the other people to come and learn too. So um, I said Anna was the first one that came and she taught us how to make a trial,
Mhm.
how to build a course, how to have the let out pen. We didn't know all this. I think for people that live in the UK, it's obvious how the trial is
You take it
going.
for granted. We take it for granted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you come and everything is working great, and you just this is it. But we had to learn that. And then she sent us a young man that worked with her to teach us. And he told us, why won't you go to the war trial? And it was like, I told him, I think we're far from that. You know, in our level. And he told us, it's not, you don't need to be a world champion to go to the world trial. You need to be a country that do sheepdog.
Yeah.
And he put us in there, like we were late to register. I talking about the 2017 in Netherlands. We were late to register, and he made it happen. We got 2 places. And he was so right about just practice to the word made a big jump.
Yeah, you have a target.
Yeah, because we had to decide who's going to represent Israel. So if it's a sport, to decide that we need to do it in a sport way. So the first league we had, it was in 2016, just before the world trial, just to decide. And then we started, and we keep going from there. Every year we have a league. And just to go there, even the last time, every world trial that I'm going, I feel I'm learning so much. So it's I think participate in the world trial, help us to progress
Raise
the
your level.
trialing.
Yeah,
the trialing in Israel.
Yeah. And you've been on the team twice then, Netherlands and then also in Ireland last year.
Yeah.
Or 23, sorry.
It's hardly a team when we are just 2, but yeah.
But there's more than 2 competitors in Israel, so you have to be in the top 2 to get there. Like so.
Yeah. We are until last year we were 7 people that compete. We all very serious. So for every trial, most of us come, but we're just 7 people in the club.
Yeah.
Everyone tried with more than 1 dog. But just think about how difficult it's to make a trial when you are just 7 people. 1 people need to judge, and 2 people need to hold sheep.
Yes.
So you have only the other 4 to compete, and we switch between us. So I can start the class running my dog, and the minute I finish my dog, I will go to the let out pen to change the person that's going to run his dog.
Yeah. So that's a lot of dedication compared to what we have to do here.
Yeah. And people know that if they won't come to a trial, they will make a problem to their friends, because we need at least, I don't know, 5-6 people. Actually, the amazing thing that happened last year, that there is a few more people that joined us.
Yes.
So now we are, I don't know, 10, 12.
Yeah. The more people, the better. Like as well, it's a good attitude you have, because some people, unless they're winning all the time, they're not happy. But you need to grow it in Israel. You need to have more people coming, and it probably helps things that if you win one week and somebody wins the next week, it keeps everybody interested.
Yeah, we really want to grow. We really want to be bigger, and I will use the platform if I say about how difficult it's to handle a trial when we saw not a lot of people. If someone that listen want to visit Israel, see all the holy places and the Holy Land and everything, we will be happy to pay for judge. We cannot pay for the whole trip, but we can pay for a day or 2 judging, and we can give accommodation for part of the days. And so if someone want to visit Israel and judge, we will be grateful.
Yeah, so if anybody's listening and you're going on a trip to Israel or something like this, get in contact with Adi, and you can go out, watch the dogs for a day, maybe do a bit of judging for them, and they'll put up accommodations. So there's bound to be somebody that will go on at some point.
Second. שיר, את מפריעה לי, תפסיק עם זה עכשיו. Sorry, my teenage daughter.
No problem. No, because we were discussing earlier, you and I, when we were talking that you're saying about Israel, about the Holy Land, and I was saying that in Ireland, the Holy Land is it's a place where students, it's in Belfast, and it's an area of housing, and it's called the Holy Lands. I say yours is quite an attraction over in Israel, but the one we have in Belfast is a big attraction as well. But for two different reasons. Our student attraction would be there'd be a lot of alcohol being taken, and they'd be up to 2 or 3 in the morning. And if people in
Yeah,
Ireland hear Holy Lands, they think of something different than what you're saying.
yeah, you can find alcohol and parties in Israel, but I
Uh,
was talking about, Via de la Rosa and all the holy places, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, the Sea of
yeah.
Galilee, other things.
So tell me this then. We know the terrain all is completely different. What temperature does it be out there roughly? And say in the summertime, what temperature does it be?
Well, the summer, especially, I live in the desert. I live, in some of the hottest place in Israel. And in the summer, it can be past 45, can be 46, 47 in the, yeah, yeah, it's difficult.
My,
So,
my head, my head wouldn't do too good in that.
yeah, I'm covered. Like when I'm going out, I have a longer sleeve. I have a very big hat. I
Yeah,
close the neckline,
yeah,
everything. But what I do in the summer, I start really, really early. Like
yeah,
when I had to practice for the war trial that was in September, and I had to work to train my dog in July and August. And sometimes, if I don't have a big trial, I can even just let the dog rest for those 2
yeah,
weeks. But if I need to train, I wake up 3:30 in the morning and it's still dark. But I do
yeah.
everything like walk the dog and organize and get rest and everything and do everything in the dark. I separate the sheep with a with a flashlight because
Yeah,
it's still dark. And in the first light, I will take the sheep for the field to train, for my
yeah.
training field. And 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm done.
Right. Yes,
Like,
yes. Before the heat gets up.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And some other place in Israel, like close to Tel Aviv, close to the sea, they can work in the summer, the afternoon, like 4, 5 o'clock, the breeze start and they can work. But because I live in the desert and it's became so hot, and the air is, even when the sun go down,
yeah.
the air stays so hot, and the sheep and the dog, they uh, pending, like pending.
Yeah, yeah. Panting, panting. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so they cannot cool themselves when the air is so hot. So I
yeah, yeah,
cannot work with them, and it's really difficult to get a dog in shape to the war
yeah,
trial during the summer because I cannot work the dog more than 10, 15 minutes, even very early in the morning.
yeah.
And so it's very difficult. Sometimes I have a lake here. I will take them to the lake and throw frisbee to the lake just to make them swim and
Hmm.
get in shape in the water so they won't get that. And it's a problem,
Yeah.
but our winter is amazing. So if you
What
want to come to
temperature?
Israel, the winter is amazing, especially in my place. Uh, we didn't have rain for 2 years.
Jesus, right, right,
Yeah. Okay. And you can count on one end the days that you cannot see the sun.
right.
So most of the days, the sky are blue and the sun is shining. And even if it can be cold at like, it can be 4 or 5 degrees at the night, it will get to
Yeah,
20 degrees middle day. And if you're in the sun, it's really, really nice.
yeah, yeah.
So,
It's funny you're
um,
saying you have 2 years with no rain. In Ireland, if we have 2 days without rain, that's called summer. Like
yeah.
it's always raining here.
Yeah, so we barely have rain. We have like in a very rainy year, we will have 3 or 4 days of rain. So
Mm.
that's considered a rainy year, and it will make a big mess. Like if we have rain here, everything flood and the electricity go down, and we just don't
I
use
not
to the
not
rain.
not built for the rain. Yeah, not built for it.
Yeah, and we didn't even well, I'm talking on myself, not on everyone in Israel, but we don't even fix the problem in the electricity because it will happen every 2 years. So, you know,
Yeah, it's not a big issue. It doesn't happen all the
yeah,
time. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, the power. Well, tell me this then. A lot of us take it for granted the world trial generally it's in the UK, or I suppose it was in the Netherlands there one time as well. But what costs is involved for you? Like for you to come across, you have to pay for the dog, and like there's a big cost involved there. And what how much does that cost roughly for you to come
Wow.
over with one dog?
I think to go to Ireland last year, it was close to 30,000 shekels.
Yes.
It will be, I think, a shekel. It's four. No, yeah, 1 lira. It's for something shekels, almost 5 shekels, I think.
Uh,
So, so it's very expensive. To go to Netherlands was cheaper.
yeah.
I'm
I
sorry
must
to
super.
say that, but we hope the next one will be in Europe and not in the UK.
Yes.
Because
Yes, that much cheaper. Well, 30,000. So what is that in UK money then? 30,000.
I think you need
Roughly.
to. I can just 1 second
Uh,
check the lira. 1 second. Uh, yeah. So almost 150. 450. 1 pound is 450 shekels. So
yeah.
it
So
will be something like
5,000-6,000 pound then, or something like that.
yeah, 6,600 pounds.
Yeah, that's what it costs more or less for you to get your flights over, your accommodation,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
vehicle.
everything.
Yeah,
Everything, and we, well, you remember, but we came a week before
yeah,
to train the dog, because the difference between your sheep and our sheep is,
yes.
you know, very big.
Night and day, night and day.
So we have to train the dog, because our dog need to be very, our sheep are very heavy,
Yes.
and the dog need to be very close to them, sometimes even almost touch them with the nose to make them
Yeah,
move. So for a dog like that used to that, to go to your sheep, that sometimes you need to be like 40 or
yeah.
50
Just like
meters,
yeah, yeah,
and it's difficult. The dog need to learn that, and we as handler also need to learn how to control a sheep from that distance.
yeah,
It's very different, and they're much faster. um, so this is the big reason we came before, just to learn, to practice on that. The other condition, your condition is better. So for
yeah,
the dog, I always joke that when people tell me, uh, ask me if the dog suffer in the flight, I told them that they live here in 45 degrees, go to your place in 20, 25 if you're lucky.
if you're
And
very lucky.
yeah, we were lucky last time.
Yeah,
But, and the grass is soft on their feet, and everything is cool and wet, and they have a vacation in Europe.
yeah,
So they won't complain. And I can see the dog. We talk about getting the dog in shape. Every time that I go with the dog to Europe or to the UK, like the dog that barely held 15 minutes in my place can do 30 minutes in your,
yeah, yeah.
like
He's
the
he's
wet
fit. He's fit for it.
care.
Yeah,
And also, I work on a very rough ground with the dog,
yeah.
like it's a lot of stones.
Hmm.
So my dog used to it, but I do suffer from, they hurt their feet, like cut their
Yeah,
feet, the paws. And people that come visit me from other place in Israel, if they train 2 days in a row in my place, a lot of time the dog will be sore just
yeah,
on the feet. So for my dog to get to your grass, just
yeah. It's like
nice.
walking on pillows.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They so, and also, um, we have a lot of in my place. It's not all over Israel, but where I
yeah.
train, we have a lot of falls in the ground that, like,
Uh-huh.
the sheep can go there and you can see them.
Yeah,
Well, in your train area, it's a bit the same, but
yeah. That field I had you on was there's a big dip, but yeah,
yeah. So my deeper, not as big, but a bit more narrow, but
yeah,
it still confused the dog and the sheep. So
yeah.
to get on a hill that it's kind of flat and you can see everything, so it's easier for the dog this way.
No, because funny for people that don't know, you were staying on my road, you and Yuval, and uh, I get the use of Cheviot mules every year from a friend, and they can be flighty at the best of times. So that was you coming over to work on them, and they're very flighty. They can just you're thinking they're coming one way one moment, and the next they could just dart. They so yeah, it was probably a big shock to the system for you and Yuval when you ran on them.
Yeah, it took us a few days just to
Yeah.
for us and the dog.
Yeah. But the thing is, you're saying there that there's only maybe you're up to maybe 10 people now, and you're not used to the conditions here. Uh, like I'm not just saying this to be nice, but you both did really well in the trial. So it's not to say that I'm not saying this to be nice. This is just a fact. You did really well. So it's not to say that you're a completely lower standard than like you're up there in that standard. Like you're well worth your entry in the world trial. Like you didn't go there just to make up numbers. These were both very good. Like
Okay,
so.
okay, thank you.
So it's
Thank you.
it's a positive. That's what I'm saying. It's not to say that you're new to the sport and you're just there for the fun of it. Like you are going there and you are putting up good runs, and your dogs are more than capable. Like so, it's nice to see.
Yeah, we especially me and Yuval, we really try to be professional.
Yeah,
You know, and this is part of the reason we came a week before and we practice and we try to get better. And when we organize trial here, we try to do it as similar as we can to your level of
yeah,
trials. Um, the distance and we keep the rules the same, and we try to be at the level of of the sport.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it definitely shows because I say you ran in the worlds. You ran. I hosted a trial beforehand, and you both ran it. Like, uh, I like if you were living here, if you were both living here in Ireland, you would definitely be getting placed back and forth with your dogs. It's not to say these are because you're only new to it as a lower level. These are as good as what we have here. So it is nice to see. It is nice to see someone coming from Israel or different countries that you don't really expect to have sheepdogs in it. It's nice to see it because the sheepdog community is small as such, but it's all over the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Like so,
Yeah, this
it's
is
good to
part
see.
of, even for us, it's part of the fun to go to the world trial and see so many people from so many countries
Yeah,
do the same.
yeah, yeah. No, they. Well, tell me this then. You've been on the team, say 17 and 23. Was it the
Yeah.
same dog? Was it the same dog you were in with at both times
No,
or different?
no. Um, no, it wasn't the same dog. The beach I ran in a 20, the last time in 23, she was just a year and a little bit in 17, and I brought her with me to the Netherlands to practice.
Uh-huh.
Start a train there, but I ran another dog that was not alive anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
And who would you say is the better of your two? Is this one you were running at 2023? Is this the best dog you've had so far? Or
yeah, I think she's the best I have for now.
yeah,
Um,
and
we always want the better one. We're
the
looking for
better
the
one, yeah.
better.
And do you find that because I say you're new to the sport relatively, uh, do you find that the more you're training at dogs, do you find that yes, you can get a bad one now and again, but do you find that your dogs are progressing? Every 4 or 5 years, do you find that your standard seems to be improving over, getting better and better?
Um, yeah, yeah. I think my dog's getting better. I think
Yeah,
part of the problem, the beach that I ran in the last world trial, she was 7 years old,
yeah,
and I know that the dog, and I know I did some mistake in her training when she was young. It was 6 years ago. I know I'm a better trainer now, and I know that my young dog are better trained than she is. So
yes,
I know I learned a lot. Even when I came back for this trial, I changed things in my training, and I know I get better and better. But we all know that it's take a lot of time to get a dog, when he's very good. So
that level.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
it's
no,
take time.
no. Well, for people listening, you were over, say, staying down the road from me, and before the World Trial 2023, and then you headed home back to Israel again, and what, a bit less than a month? Was it a month later? The war
two
broke out.
weeks, two
2 weeks.
weeks later.
Yeah, 'cause I remember at the time thinking like how crazy this was, that you were here enjoying yourself, having like a great time, to then be going to, war. Like it's just a crazy thought to have. It's something that I suppose we don't really have here in the UK. Like it's not an issue. Like, but you were saying to me, we've been talking like ever since the World Trial, like that where you're at in Israel, you're relatively safe.
Yeah, the place I live, the area I live in is the safest place in Israel.
Yes.
Actually, all over this more than a year now that we're in war, we have only one alarm, like only one time that they sent us to go to the how you call it, to the shelter.
Yes.
And even there, it was only when the night of the Iranian missiles.
Uh-huh.
So only in that day, and no missile land here, just because of all
Just
the
precautionary.
sharpers that, yeah,
Yeah.
the sharper that go from the sky. So it's a very safe place. Me and my family, we weren't in danger for not any moment. But
Yeah.
it was difficult. We were just came back, and it was a very difficult. The few first months was very difficult in Israel. I think for everyone, even if your family is safe, uh, there was no one in Israel that didn't know someone that got killed,
Was
died,
affected.
or lost a family member, or and a lot of people was in deploying, went to the
Yeah.
army, and people with family. And so last year we didn't have a league. It's the first time in the last 8 years that we have only two trials last year,
Yeah.
because out of our 7 people, 3 were deploying in the army, and
Yes.
one was a lot of family member died in
Yeah.
the 7th of October. So last year was difficult.
Yeah.
And yeah, and what was really nice, like we were just came from the war trial, and we knew a lot of people there, and I got a lot of very nice, caring messages from people. Well, from you too, but from a lot
Yeah.
of people that ask me if we are okay, and how is everything if Israel, and if they can help, or just so it was nice to feel that the friends we make was caring about us.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a difficult years, and it's still not behind us. Like it's
No.
better now, but it's still going on. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what way will that affect you then for say the World Trial in 26? Then does Israel, do you have intentions of going out to that trial, or will the war have
yeah,
an effect on that?
I really want to go.
Yeah.
But as we say that in our crazy country, you can never know what will be next.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of feel like that here. I really hope that the war will over soon,
Yeah.
and we will keep trialing. I know I would like to go to another war trial. I assure you, Val want to go to another war trial. We
Yeah.
talking about that, and
He's got the
yeah,
bug
we
for
talk.
it big time.
Yeah, and we talking about that, and we start thinking about, it's something like a year and a half, but
Yeah.
you need to know, you need a dog to, like, a year and a half before you need to have a dog ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something that I will just, just a
Decided in this
puppy.
moment. Yeah.
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 So we really want that. I hope it won't affect us. I hope next year we have a regular league, and we can choose our team, and everything will be as regular. But um,
No, because this is part of the reason. Like, you and I have been in contact ever since you come over for the World Trials. Like, I'd say maybe most every 2 or 3 weeks, maybe we have a message to see if you're okay and all's good. Uh, I think for a lot of people, you hear the war in Israel or whatever, and it's on the news. Whereas for me myself, it's like I actually know someone from there then. So I found myself like you're always looking up the internet to see if anything was happening and checking in to see that you were okay and stuff like that. So I think for a lot of people listening to this, it'll be quite interesting because it seems that it's nearly like a stuff you see on the TV. It's not anything that's actually affecting anybody, but we have sheepdog handlers from Israel, like so. It's a small world, the sheepdog world, like so. It is nice. It's nice to hear maybe how things are and that you're safe in your area. Like it's nice to know. So it is.
Yeah. So yeah, it's weird. We keep working our dogs, but it does affect us. Tell you one of the thing is some of our trial held in the West Bank. It's a part of Israel that there is an argue if it's need to be part of Israel or not. But and the security, it's not a very safe place right now. So we don't do trial there this year. And so we have a less place that can host trial.
Yeah.
So but I hope this year it will be. We started good. We already have 3 trials this year. We need to have another one in 2 weeks, and I hope we get a nice league this year.
Yeah, getting the fun of it and enjoyment back again. Yeah. Well, tell me this then. You've been over to 2 world trials, Holland and Ireland. What would be your favorite? Like Holland's completely different. It's flat land. Ireland's maybe more rolling. What was your favorite? Like, did you maybe the flat land of Holland maybe suited you better? Did it or?
I think your heels are perfect for this sport. Like this sport, it's like I have one Kelpie. I work with Kelpies a little bit too, and sometimes but I have a friend that I send him a picture for Christmas with a puppy of Border Collie and puppy of Kelpie, and he asked me if I went to the dark side. So yeah, I have one Kelpie too. And when people ask me which is better, well, Border Collie, of course, but even though I think that Border Collie are better, they cannot do as well as Kelpies in a Kelpie trial.
Yeah.
Because the trial and the breed were invented together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think the ISDS trial, it's really good on your heels.
Yeah.
It's a bit more difficult on other terrain. And when it was so flat in Neverland, it's a bit harder to see the distance when it's flat.
Yeah.
And in our land, one of the problem that we work with here in Israel, we don't have a lot of place with 40 meters outrun that you can see the sheep. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of time, it will be the ground is not flat enough and not hills enough. Like we have a lot of folds in the ground, so it's difficult.
The sheep are safe.
Yeah, so a lot of time we find a nice place to have a trial, but we will do like a 300-meter outrun because we don't have 400, like in my place. And I have all the desert. One person from Wales came to do a clinic and and he was looking around and he will say, for how many days you can walk without getting to a fence? And I told him days. Like it's an open place, but the visual you cannot see good enough for so far.
Yeah.
Do you want me to
mirage with the heat? Is the heat that makes it difficult to see, or what way?
No. It's just there will be trees or mountains or fold in the ground or just
not
just the landscape. You want me to show some pictures?
Yeah. Do that there. You have pictures there.
Yeah, let's see if I know how to do that. How do I
Or
do
if you
that?
don't know, if you don't even know how to do it, we can put it on Facebook later. We can put some pictures up as
Okay.
well
Okay,
for
so I
people.
will just send you and you put it on Facebook. I
Aye,
think
but it
it's
just a bit nice for people because, again, like when you go to Europe, it's not really that different from say the UK and Ireland. It's different, but it's not miles apart. Whereas you sent me the pictures that you have,
yeah.
and a completely different world, completely different world for the dogs. So, well, tell me this then. Uh, is there any handlers that you have maybe looked up to over the years? You know, from maybe going to world trials, or maybe somebody's come to a clinic to help you. Is there anybody that you've really looked up to?
Yeah. Well, there is a Brian McConnell. Well,
Brian McConaughey.
yeah, he's in Wales now, but he's from Ireland. He helped us, well, me specifically, but not only me, a lot over the years.
Yeah,
I went to his farm in Wales once, and he came to Israel and teach us once, but um, he's still the person that when I have a question, I'm asking. Like he's helped us a lot over the years, and even helped me like my Copper, the dog, the white dog that I work with. So
yeah,
he
yeah.
helped me buy it. Daisy, the one that he helped me buy it. So he helped us a lot. Um, who else? Um,
Hey, Brian could come out with anything. He could say anything. You have to you have to get to know him. There's a bit of fun with Brian anyway. I know that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there's
It is you have a lot of knowledge on this. You
yeah,
know, is a lot of years that
yeah,
that
yeah,
is in the
yeah.
sheepdog world. So, um, who else? We've been in touch with Carol Mellin
Yes,
that also came to Israel, and we came to her. I went in her place a few times, twice, and she also helped us. Um, and when I look, it's always fun to look on Kevin Evans running. So I don't know him personally, but I enjoy looking on him. Serge from Neverland,
yes,
you know, all the and who else? Well, there's a few people that came. I don't just want to say all the name, but I don't look on a lot of trial in the internet.
yeah,
Like Yuval, my friend, he always pay and look and see everything. Um, I like to work the dog
yeah.
and
It's like
sit
it's like
on.
cricket. It's like cricket. We there's cricket played over here, and it's awful to watch, but it's fun to play. So if you're playing it, it's great. If you're watching it, it's not that great. So I know what you mean.
Yeah, and sheepdog trial, when you sit in the I seat in the world trial in the final, it's amazing to watch.
Yeah, and then you
But
go back to watch on a
yeah,
small
but
place.
sit on a small TV, it's you know,
Yeah, it's
um,
just not the
di-
same buzz, the same excitement with it.
yeah, and I have a lot of animals. I have two daughters. I have a job, so
Yeah.
I'm busy doing the day doing
Well,
stuff.
well, that's what we're going to discuss next. Your job. You do like as tourism, isn't it? And
Yeah.
you have your sheepdogs and all that in part of the tourism. So, explain a wee bit about that.
Yeah. Also, if you put in a Facebook, I can send you a short video in English that explain that. But what I
Yeah.
do, tourists come here. The area I live, it's a tourist area. And
Yeah.
especially this year, it's one of the last safe place in Israel. So when people going to vacation, they come here, especially in the winter. That, as I say, it's a really nice winter. And people, just family comes, and I separate them for two groups, and I take out like 20 sheep and give them a task to do, like just bring the sheep from here to there around the pen, or separate the group to two groups and only 5 sheep put in the pen, you know,
Yes.
things like we do in a trial, but without the dog. And what
Uh-huh.
I do is I let one group do the task and measure time, and then the other group do the task and measure time. And then I demonstrate with one of the dog that always win. But Yeah, the dog always doing that better, especially when I let them, separate and pen the sheep. And it's a difficult task. So a lot of the group just cannot do it, or it's take them like 6 or 8 minutes, and then I take one of the dog and do it in 1 minute. And so it's a show. I tell them the competition is between you and the dog is the show. And then I explain them a little bit about the sheep and explain a little bit about the dog and demonstrate how I work with the dog and how I work with the whistle, and I will work with two dogs. And it's just like an hour and a half attraction. And
Yes.
people really, really enjoy that.
Yeah.
And it's like attraction for all the family. It's not just kids. And sometimes I get, like older people or just young people or soldiers or
A
just
mixture.
everything.
Yeah.
So
And it'd be completely alien, I suppose, to a lot of people maybe in Israel that are coming, because 15 years ago it was alien to you and you lived on a farm. So
yeah,
like people coming from the towns or the cities, it'll probably
yeah.
blow their
So
mind to see.
it's very alien for a lot of people, and they amazed, and especially the people that live in the city. They ask me, but who is the farmer you working with? We don't. There is sheep in Israel,
Yes.
because if people live in the farm, they don't see the sheep around. No, in the farm, in the city, they don't see the sheep. And you told before that I grew in the farm. I, my father is a farmer, but he's a
Yeah.
vegetables farmer.
Uh-huh.
So I grew in a village that there is a lot of farm around, but no sheep. So sheep, it was
Yes.
only I start with duck and then I moved to sheep, and I didn't have sheep before. I had to learn everything about sheep when I just started with the dog.
A lot of people that are brought up with sheep probably wish they weren't brought up with sheep, whereas you weren't brought up with sheep and now you're keeping them. They
Yeah, I think my girls also think sheep is, stinking and boring.
aye, no, it's funny because my brother, he does livestock photography, so he'll go and take photos of pedigree sheep before sales. And he was down the other day with me, and I was lambing some of my pedigree Beltecs, and we're working away, and I went, oh, I hate sheep. And he says, funny, he says, you're the third person that said that today. He had been to two other farms taking photos of sheep, and the two other farms had said the same things. Hate sheep. Everybody hates sheep, like, but yet,
Yeah,
yet we
well,
all keep them.
I can understand this. I don't like the sheep either, but I really
Yeah,
like the dog.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and I like the dog working the sheep. And this is part of the reason I have only 40 sheep,
yeah,
and I lambing only one a year. Most
yeah.
people of Israel will do every 2 months,
Yes.
like different group, not the same sheep,
Aye.
of course, but
Yeah, yeah,
uh, the intensive intensive farm that want to be to earn enough money to be
uh-huh.
economical, they do like every 2 or 3 months they have lambing time.
Yes,
Some even do
yes.
every month.
Aye.
So I do it
So they've
once a
lambed
month.
all year to sell.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And also like if they have 3,000 sheep, so every month other sheep. So it won't be so big the lambing the amount of lamb.
yeah,
But I do it only once a year, and part of the reason is because during the winter my sheep work a lot, and
yeah,
they earn more money working with the dog and all the teaching. I do a lot of teaching,
yeah,
like people that want to when I want to learn how to work the dog, I had to get the Andy Nichols DVD.
yeah.
But now people, if in Israel, if they want to learn how to train sheepdog, they come to me.
Yes, yes.
So, so
Aye, so you need the winter months.
yeah, so I do a lot of teaching. I have courses and 6 months course, and I have a weekend course, and it depends which people. So the sheep earn more money with all the teaching and guiding I do than have been pregnant and have lamb.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, it's I have the wee black Hebridean sheep. You probably seen them when you were over that time. If they go on lamb, okay. If they don't, I don't care. they're only there for the dogs. So it's
Yeah.
the same. It's the same. People say, "Oh, would you not be afraid of losing the lambs?" I'll work them all year round with dogs, and if they have lambs, good. If they have lambs and don't have lambs, I don't care. As you say,
Yeah, I'm
they're there for the
exactly the
dog.
same. But although farmer keep telling me, if you work them too much, there will be miscarriage, and you don't have enough lamb. I have plenty of lamb. I don't have
Yeah,
any miscarriage. I work them until a month before they need to start lambing,
yeah.
and they're used to it. They're in good shape. There's no
Yeah.
problem with that.
The people I find that say, working a dog at the sheep will put the lambs out of them, they're maybe not working with a good dog.
Yeah.
There's a difference between working the sheep and worrying the sheep with a dog. Like we call worrying here. I don't know if you said in Israel, it's like a dog maybe just attacking the sheep and running through them and chasing them. That's worrying. Well, if you have a well-trained collie, he's going to be working the sheep. The sheep won't be upset. They're at ease or whatever. So I do the same. Mine generally all hold and lamb. Like there's no real issues because you're not attacking them or abusing them.
Yeah, I'm completely agree with you, but because I am a training center and I get a lot of young dog to train, and I get people that are not profession with their young dog, so they cannot keep the sheep as I would do.
Yeah.
So sometimes um, I'm not as my sheep not get as good treatment as you're talking about.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
if I
Yes.
will work my trained dog, of course I will keep everything quiet,
Yeah.
but sometimes but if I know that someone come to a lesson is not a good trainer, and the dog will be aggressive, I won't take the pregnant I will
Ah.
choose
Yeah. Yeah.
a three
Keep that
one that are in a good shape and can handle that.
handle for it. Yeah. No problem. So tell me this then. You've got a pup. You're breeding your own pups, whatever. They're 3, 4 months, 5 months. What way do you start the training? So do you take them and learn them to recall and sit away from sheep, or do you start their training on lying down and coming back on the sheep, or what way do you work?
It depends if I grew the puppy or I
Yeah.
get it to train. Because if it's a puppy that I bred and he grew in my place,
Uh-huh.
so I teach him to come to me, of course, his name, and to come to me. I teach him to get his food in a cage, in a box, and I teach him that he cannot live out of the yard if I didn't allow him, and to go up to the truck and go back from the truck only on command. And
Yeah.
a lot of time I will teach him a little bit of sit and lie down and work with treats or clicker, or even teach him a little bit of shaping,
Uh-huh.
to try to offer behavior, and then I will treat him. So I
Yes.
do, if it's my dog, and sometimes I will teach him a little bit of frisbee or ball. If it's a puppy that I grew in my place, I will try to, just get a little bit bond with him. And it
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
depends what time of the year, if I have more time or not. But I also twice a week take all my border collies, my sheepdog border collies, to the
Yes.
school in my
Uh-huh.
area and work with the children.
Yeah. Socialize them, get them well socialized. Yes.
No, no, do
Or,
like dog therapy for the children.
all right. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I need my dog to be socialized. This is
Uh-huh.
one of the reasons that if I have puppy, I will put a bit of effort of him to be good with people, because I
Yes.
work with the children with the border collies. And I know a lot of farmer thinks that the border collie are, just for work, but they're amazing with children.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I do some of this, and but when I get it on the ship, I have just a basic, um, relationship with the dog.
Uh-huh.
But when I get a dog to train from farmers, and you probably know that too, sometimes they don't even know the name.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes they never had a collar or a leash on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just put them on the ship,
Yeah.
just out on the ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's the faster way to get connected with the dog.
Yeah, but a bit of a bond. Yeah.
So
No. So ideally, you would do it the way you do with your own, but because farmers maybe aren't as switched on about the whole thing, you do it differently if the farmer's dog goes in. Yeah. No, it makes sense.
yeah,
They a lot of farmers, they don't really want to do anything with the dog until they'll get it as a puppy and they'll do nothing with it until it's a year old. When they think, right, he's ready to go now, and they just have it locked away for a year. Like
yeah.
it's yeah. They
But it's not the way I think it's right to grow border collie pups.
yeah.
But I understand them. It's
Uh,
not easy to grow those border collie puppies.
yeah, especially if they don't know what they're doing as well. It's
And
very difficult.
especially if you live in a farm
Yeah,
and the dog can get inside the sheep, like farms in Israel, they like in a pen, but the pen usually is not closed good enough so the dog can get in. So they
yes,
can not let the dog out of the cage because he will get inside the sheep and make a
yeah,
mess.
yeah.
So,
There's no training whatsoever. The dog doesn't know, no recall or yeah. No, I know that. I know. I've seen that before with people's dogs. Farmers coming in and uh, I there's some of the things you see. I remember a farmer came to me years ago, and along with his wife, and I thought my initial thought was that this was someone. It's I don't know if you call it in Israel, but a prank, like
okay.
it's a joke. He had said he bought a dog from a sheepdog trainer here, and he wasn't saying very nice things about this sheepdog trainer, and he bought him. He bought the dog from him. And oh, he sold me this dog, and this dog's no good. And I was like, right, well, if the dog was no good, why did you buy it? Oh, well, when I seen it, it was doing A, B, C, and D, but it doesn't do that now. I says, all right, so he's not the problem, and I says, you're the problem. Is that not what you're trying to say? I says, so because
Yeah.
it was doing it for him and it doesn't do it for you, doesn't mean that he is all these different names that you're calling him. So
Yeah.
I said, tell you what you do. I said, take the dog into the field here with me. I had a wee small field for training it, and like this is the truth. And even now, thinking back on it, I tell a story to people like it's so hard to believe that this was even happening. Uh, so the dog obviously when he bought it was trained, say way, come by, sit down, walk up. This man walked into the field with the dog. And I says, right, just go and get the sheep there for bring the sheep down. He looked at the dog and he looked at the sheep. I looked at the dog and I looked at the sheep and he goes, go on and get the sheep. Go on and get the sheep. As if it was talking to a human, as if he was talking to a human.
Yeah.
And I was like, I looked around at his wife. I thought they're taking the hat, like they're having a joke here with me. Like this isn't serious. And then I realized this man's deadly serious. Like he was completely serious. And I was like, what the hell? And he walked up into the corner, then the dog, and he goes, go on into the corner. Go on into the corner. I says, right. I says, come here a wee minute, just and I'll take the wee dog here a minute and see see what happens. And I went up to the wee dog and pet it, talked away to it for a wee minute or two, and took around the sheep. And just with my body language, even I had it, it was going this way and it was going come by and it was going this way and it was going away. And he heard me saying come by and away, and he goes, "Oh, Jesus, look at that!" He said to the wife, "Oh, look at that! The dog's working for him. The dog's working for him." And I said to him, because the wee dog was working to my body language, like, and I said, "You know what?" I said, "That dog would probably work." I'd say without me speaking to it. Oh no, no, it couldn't happen. Not a hope, not a hope. He says, "So the dog's not doing anything for hasn't done anything for whatever 6 months, whatever long he had it." I said, "No, I think it would." So I never spoke and just moved. Like the slightest the man didn't even catch on. The slightest wee movement this way, and the dog went duller, and the slightest movement that way. And I was bringing the sheep around the field, and he was saying to the wife, "Look at that! Look at that!" He says, the dog's working like, and he's not even speaking to it." And then he had asked me, "Oh, could I take the dog and train it?" And I just remember coming up with something mental, like, I had a list of people for training for maybe the next like year and a half, which I didn't. But I just thought, like, this man had a dog, there was nothing wrong with it, brought to him, and he still managed to
Yeah.
make a mess of it. Like no matter what I would have done with that dog, it was still going to be no good. He was the issue. So yeah, I made up like, yeah, a list of a year and a half. I can't do it. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying to you about you're getting dogs in maybe and they've never had any interaction, or they're not the dog's not the problem. It's the person that has the dog that
Yeah.
is the problem.
Yeah. I do a lot of teaching to farmers here.
Yeah,
And when I sell a dog, I do some teaching. And some of the farmer, a lot of the farmer here have young shepherd,
yeah,
like 16, 17. So they can be really keen or responsible, but they don't have any, life experience. They're
yeah,
very
yeah,
young. And some of them learned it and just bring me, like, the farm owner will bring me for a day just to work with his shepherd on the dog
yes,
and teach them how to do that. And your story just reminded me another story that I came to a farm that I sell them a very trained dog that not just 3 months trained, dog that I tried with him, and he was very trained, but I trained him in English. Some of the dog I
yeah,
trained in Hebrew. And for the farmers, some of them doesn't know English. So even if it's just for word, it's difficult for them.
yes,
And when the shepherds are changed, so the other shepherd will tell, well, this is come by, this is away, lie down, walk on, and go. And
yeah,
I sit with the shepherds, young one, and I told them, well, come by, away, lie down, walk on. And he told me, you say lie down? For months, I'm saying well done.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
But the dog work. So yeah, I think when shepherd, uh, I always tell the shepherd that I work with that when I see most of the border collies I see working in the farm, it's like you get a very expensive sport car,
Yeah,
but you never passed the second gear.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like like the border collie can do so much more than
Uh-huh.
you do with them. And then I tell them, if you come learn, you can work your dog better.
Yeah, yeah,
And there are farms in Israel that I work with them for over 10 years now, and they doing the process. They get better.
yeah, yeah.
So
They're improving.
really nice to see that.
Yeah. No, no. I said it before, a completely different world out your way, and it's nice to hear it because you're used to hearing the same stories all the time. Oh, well, on this podcast, for example, you're something completely different. Like so, I think people will appreciate hearing this. It's a completely different world. I know the pictures that you have sent me through and the videos, even just of the terrain. I couldn't think of anything worse than that heat. The heat is
I,
just crazy. It's crazy for me.
when I'm coming to UK, always in the week, always in the summer,
Yeah.
uh, and when it's a very cold, rainy day, I miss the 45 degrees.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They,
So
I know even your dogs are bound to notice a big difference even themselves. Like, you're saying they run 15 minutes in Israel, but they could run half an hour, no problem. No
yeah.
problem here. It must be a relief for them also, you know.
And also the BBC, the border collie collapse. You know this
Yeah.
disease?
No, I don't know of it, but no.
Yeah, you probably don't have it. It's we see it mostly on a Kennel Club Border Collie, but I know one ISDS Border Collie. They get overeat and they cannot cool themselves, and it's become like a neurolog symptoms.
Yes.
And I know one ISDS Border Collie that came in Israel, had this disease. They flew him back to, I think, to Ireland.
Uh-huh.
Gone,
No problem.
just not problem in your place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I thinking that one of the reason that um, this disease survive in the border collies is because it's not a problem in the UK.
Yeah. Nobody even knows it exists, I suppose, really, because we don't have those temperatures.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I hadn't even heard of this before you said it there. So like, I they a completely different world. Uh, well, tell me this to finish up. Uh, when you're judging a trial, is there anything that you like to see? I know we say this every time on the podcast. Obviously, you want the complete run, but is there anything in particular that for you, if you're judging, it has to be done right? So say shedding and shedding properly, or the outrun if they go too wide? Would you really penalise it, or is there something that you really like to see done right when judging?
I think because our sheep is really heavy, some of on the trial more than other, but when we have a very heavy sheep, I like to see a dog that's strong enough to keep the sheep moving even when they're heavy.
Yeah.
And a dog that even if the sheep turn her head to the dog, he will be strong enough to make her turn and keep moving. And I don't like to see dog that avoid that or dog that make the sheep annoying and angry.
Yeah.
So I really like to see the strong dog, but they will stay calm and work the sheep even when it's a difficult sheep and a heavy sheep.
Aye. So a dog that will push on his run, he's not stopping and starting, stopping and starting. He flows on. You like to see sheep flowing then on a run?
Yeah, I don't care if the dog stop and work. I
Aye.
care if he can keep the sheep working.
Aye.
Sometimes he need to stop, but if the sheep is stopping and the dog was like, okay, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Go, let's go, go and be dog of someone else.
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
those. So because we have heavy sheep, I really like the dog to be strong and brave. I don't like a dog that will get nervous if a sheep at him, look at him with that. And so I don't like to see that. And I really like to see a smart dog. Like, I know it's not like when you judge, if everything going straight and clean, you need to give the maximum point. But I really like to see when it's get difficult and the dog handle it great.
Yeah.
I really like to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's times you do see at the trials where something goes wrong and the dog knows what to do, and then there's other times where something goes wrong and the dog he's trained but he's no experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You notice
it's exactly what I'm talking about, and it's not always, you cannot always give more point for those things when you judge, but I'm really enjoying seeing that.
No, it makes sense what you're saying. It's a lot of times we're looking for the perfect run, but it doesn't always exist because the sheep, obviously, they might dictate otherwise. But as you say, things might go wrong, but a dog's made a very good attempt to fix things. It's nice to see. It's nice to see that dog has the ability. So yeah. No, Adi, do well. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
I've really been looking forward to having this chat because again, it's completely different. I'm sure anybody listening, it's completely different. Like so, it's great to hear, and it's good to see that how you've explained that it's only been a recent thing, 15 years, but yet you're coming over and you're holding your ground, and you're competing along with all the other countries. Like it's not to say that you're new to the sport and you're only there for the fun of it. You're there competing, like so. It is nice to see.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem. So, all right, anybody that wants to see any things, like we'll take Adi will send through some pictures maybe of the terrain and a few things in Israel just as different, and we'll put it on a post, say in a couple of days' time, just for people to see because it's different. But Adi, thank you very much for your time. Okay.
Thank you. Bye.